Welcome to the first episode of Murderous Minds, where we look at the world's most infamous killers to find out what makes a person truly evil. On today's case, we will be looking into Lizzie Borden, often known as the Axe Murderer, or for her children's rhyme that goes a little bit like this. Lizzie Borden had an axe. She gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41. Now, is Lizzie Borden a true killer? Or is she just a victim of circumstance? Or was she not even the killer at all? We'll find out today on Murderous Minds. Lizzie was born July 19, 1860 in Falls River, Massachusetts, to Andrew Borden and Sarah Anthony Borden. Shortly after the birth of Lizzie, Sarah passed away from complications from childbirth, and her father Andrew remarried Abby Durfee Gray. During her childhood, Lizzie would spend much of her time with her sister Emily and avoid contact with both her father and her stepmother. She also spent much of her time in the church, going to church every Sunday, along with participating in the Christian Endeavor Society. She worked as a secretary-treasurer. This group focused on youth organization and youth donations, teaching the children valuable skills in life. Father Andrew was a very successful businessman at the time. He was the president of the bank and also ran several textile mills. Despite his success in business, however, his home life was not always what it seemed. In the family home, there was no indoor plumbing, and despite having such success in business, he decided to live in the poor neighborhood. As Lizzie and her older sister Emma grew, they also grew a hatred for their stepmother and for their father. The servants of the house would say that the two sisters would rarely eat with their family because of their distaste for them. And as her father Andrew continued to bestow gifts on Abby, such as real estate and fine gifts, the sisters became even more suspicious. They saw Abby as a gold digger out to get their father's money. In the months leading up to the murders of both Andrew and Abby, building a roost for her pigeons, she found some solace. However, her father decided to kill the pigeons because he thought that the children of the town were chasing them and hunting them down. This devastated Lizzie, and she always held anger towards her father for this. Also around the time of the murders, Lizzie and Emma were considered spinsters for being older and not wed at the time, and her father and stepmother were pushing both of them to marry or leave the house together. Because of all the animosity between the sisters and the family, both Lizzie and Emma went on extended vacations in July of 1892. Several days leading up to the murder, the whole entire family, including kitchen staff, became violently ill. There's two theories for this. The first is that the food just went bad because there wasn't the proper refrigeration. The second theory is that this was Lizzie's first attempt on the family by poison. And the final night before the murder, John Vinicum Morse, so that would be Lizzie's maternal uncle, so that would be Sarah's brother, came to visit. That night, he discussed business with Andrew and also stayed in the guest bedroom. The thing that many find odd about this is that John rarely visited before the murders or after the murders occurred. The date of the murders occurred August 4th, 1892. Abby was the first to be murdered as she went to the guest bedroom to make up the bed after John had left in the early morning, was hit with a hatchet while entering the bedroom. She then fell, where the attacker continued their onslaught of attacks with the hatchet from behind. Andrew left the home early in the morning to have breakfast and also go for a morning walk. He returned at 10:30 a.m. and found that the door was difficult to open and it was jammed. So he had to call Bridget, the house servant, to help him open the door. When he arrived inside, he began looking for Abby. However, Lizzie, who was already home, told him that Abby had left to go to town to visit a sick friend. So he decided to take a nap in the summer heat. The maid, Bridget, was also reported to have been taking a nap around this time from heat exhaustion. As for Lizzie, she gave two different accounts for her time. The first story she told was that she spent 20 to 30 minutes eating a pear in a hot attic, which seemed odd to detectives at the time. She then recanted her story and told officers she had spent the 20 to 30 minutes repairing the jam on the door. At around 11:10, Lizzie screamed for Bridget, the maid, that her father had been murdered. They found that Andrew had been struck to the face and the chest. Immediately, investigators believed that Lizzie was guilty of the crime, considering she didn't have a reliable story and she continued to change it. They also believed her animosity towards her father and stepmother were also the cause. However, there was no physical evidence to link her to the murders, and the only weapon found in the home was a hatchet in the basement that was clearly cleaned off and also had the handle broken off. Also, the day of the murders, Lizzie was wearing a dress that she claimed was covered in paint. However, the investigators believed it may have been covered in blood. However, Lizzie took the dress and burnt it. During the trial, Lizzie became sensationalized and somewhat of a celebrity. And because of all the craziness in the courtroom, the contradictory testimony given by Lizzie was proven inadmissible in court, and then Lizzie was found not guilty by a jury of 12 men. After the trial, Lizzie and her sister received a large portion of the estate from her father. Because her stepmom died first, the estate went to her father, and then when he passed, it went to the girls, which oddly would seem very suspicious to investigators, but unfortunately due to double jeopardy, they couldn't charge her again for the crimes. The sisters then moved to the nicer part of town called the Hill. They enjoyed a lavish life. However, Lizzie could never escape the judgment that she faced from the townspeople that always assumed that she was guilty of the crimes. In 1905, the sisters had a blow-up fight and never talked again. Some speculate it has something to do with Lizzie's extra relationships with Nance O'Neill. However, others speculate further. Emma finally found out what truly happened to their parents. Now, let's get into some theories. Some people believe that Lizzie was actually physically and sexually abused by her father, and some believe that Abby knew about it and didn't do anything about it. And they believe that this built-up rage and anger towards them caused her to kill them. The second theory is that the maid Bridget and Lizzie were having an affair, and one day they were caught by Abby, and she saw them with disgust. So Lizzie decided to kill her, and then when she told her father about this, he also reacted in the same manner. This is speculated because Lizzie may have had a lesbian relationship later in life, as I mentioned. The next theory is that Andrew met an untimely death from an unhappy business partner. Although Andrew was very successful in business, he was known for also being a little bit of a crook, and many people were known to have a grudge against him. Next possible theory is that John Morris, who visited that night and discussed business with Andrew, found that the business dealings didn't go quite as planned and was angered and decided to kill both Abby and Andrew. However, I believe, in my opinion, that both Abby and Emma had something to do with it. I believe it had something to do with money, and the fact that Abby was getting more from real estate than them. This is explained that prior to the murders, they were living in a poor neighborhood, and after the murders, they ended up with most of the inheritance and living in a wealthier area. However, these are just my theories, and I'd like to know what you guys think. And this completes the first case of Murderous Minds. I hope you guys enjoy this little bit of a darker take on my channel. I always find it really interesting to find out stories about conspiracy theories, or murder stories, or kidnappings, or missing persons, just because I like to learn more, and also I like to find out the way that people think, I guess. If you guys like this video, make sure to give it a like, and I hope you subscribe and be a part of all the videos I make. And I will be making videos every Tuesday and Saturday. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.